Hi there. Welcome back to the SBG New Braunfels podcast. I am here today with Jennifer Larsen.
Hello.
Okay. Jennifer Larsen is going to be talking to us today about the Align Mastermind, of which I'm also a member of. Before we get into that, just if you don't know who I am, I'm Michael Hines, and I'm the owner of SBG New Braunfels Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu School. We teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai kickboxing to kids and adults. If you're in the New Braunfels, even the New Braunfels greater area, and you're interested in something like that, just should be able to find a link to our website, even within the YouTube channel, okay? But I'm going to turn things over to Jennifer. And first, we should probably talk off with what you do outside of Align, just very briefly. But
sure. Yeah. So my primary job is that I co-own Wolfstand Wealth Strategies. We're a local financial advising firm in town. We don't talk a whole lot about that because everything that we do in regards to promotion has to be compliance approved. So that's all I'll say about that. But I have been in that industry for about 7 years, so I really love it. I was a teacher prior to that. For 14 years, I was a teacher. And now I am a financial advisor, and then I run Align. So Align is basically a mastermind group that is meant for, it was created to bring business owners together so that they can really lean on one another and learn things that they may not know how to do in regards to running their business. So I guess it kind of started a couple of years ago. My co-conspirator, so to speak, Laurie Jarrett, she and I were wanting to get back into networking. It was post-COVID. We had been sitting at home for a long time. We really wanted to get back out into the community, but we did not want to do or join or create an exclusive networking group. We had been part of that. If you've ever experienced that, it can be very effective for brand new business owners. Usually you have to bring referrals every week. You're the only financial advisor or real estate agent in that group, and that's it. And your job is to basically build up that group and build up the people who are in that group. But being in the industry as long as I have, and Laurie being in the industry as long as she has, that really didn't fit our model. You know, we have people in our network, and we want to continue to refer the good people, give 2 or 3 referrals, and so we didn't want to be pigeonholed into that. So then our second thought was, okay, what else is it that the community needs? And business owners need a place to come together and really just be in it with people who understand. You know, if you're not a business owner or you've never done that, you really have no idea all of the stresses, the emotional stress, the mental stress, the monetary stress, and you're trying to not only be the expert in your business, like I'm the expert in my industry, but you're also having to all of a sudden be an expert marketer and an expert bookkeeper and an expert at real estate, right? If you're like property management, you're having to be an expert in all these things that you may not have done before. And so the mastermind group was created as a way to help give business owners a place to lean on one another.
Yeah, I just echoing that sentiment because I've been there. Yeah, small business owner, you're gonna wear like every hat, whereas Pepsi's gonna put a whole division in charge of those ideas. We need a social media marketing campaign. It's like, get who's in social. It's like in small business, it's like you are in social. You are everything, and so very likely until you get big enough to have, and often you simply can't afford to pay someone to just do that smaller task. So you have to take it on yourself. And I always walk away from Align with great insights into something as what you mentioned there. It's like, or sometimes I realize there's another role. And then that doesn't make me more stressed, but I just realized there is another role I could be doing and that would actually be really helpful. But it would have probably occurred to me 3-4 years down the line. But getting that insight earlier is always helpful.
Yeah. I have found that what makes it special is I think that a couple of things. One, I think just the camaraderie, right? That you feel when you're there. But also, we always have a question of the day, and that question of the day, sometimes it's really silly, and sometimes it is applicable to our presentation, but it gives everybody there a chance to be heard for even a few seconds, right? And sometimes we go through our entire days, maybe 2 or 3, 4 days at a time without anyone saying, "Hey, Michael, how are you?"
Right,
Like,
sure,
right?
sure,
Or what do
yeah.
you think about X, Y, and Z?
Sure.
And so even just having, 1 minute to answer the question of the day and
Sure.
to get your
Sure.
thoughts, feelings, and things like that out into the community and have them validated by the people that are in attendance, I think it just makes people feel very welcome, and they leave there feeling happy. And
Sure.
and most of the time, it's really hard for me to get there. What I hear is, it's really hard for me to get there, but I'm always so happy when I leave.
Sure.
I
Same.
feel so good when we leave. So I'm very happy with the way that it has progressed, and I think that it's just going to continue to grow. And we usually have between 30 and 40 people there every week, and to one of the, I think, most fulfilling things that I have seen is just the relationships that I see formed because of the opportunity to connect with one another. I mean, as I get to, I'm one of the leaders, so I'm sitting in the front, but I'm looking at the audience and I'm seeing these relationships and people who had no idea who one another is, and now they rent space together and they've collaborated. And like Botanicals Wellness, is working with another group there, and so just to see that is like, man, like we created this opportunity. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes even just what there's a great opportunity to promote your business and what you do.
Sure.
And I guess I get snagged by the promotion of other people's things.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, that would be like a cool date night, like
Yeah.
for me and my wife. Like
Yeah.
some of the things I haven't gotten around to, but
Yeah.
like you'll see me when I'm on my phone there. I mean, sometimes I have some admin that comes up right away, but
Yeah.
usually I'm just taking notes.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, I didn't know there was a shop for that. Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, really, huh? I really, and that's partly why I started the podcast. I mean, I do it really intermittently, but one of the goals was, I love it when I become more aware of something in this community that I didn't know before. And it's hard to figure those things out. And so anytime I'm becoming aware of something, I want to share it with the other gym members. And I know this might reach people outside my gym as well, but like, that's just good in my mind. But we're probably going to have Cade come walking through here in a second. Just other... Yeah, I was trying to think. I have definitely engaged the business of various people there and found out things like I had no idea existed or whatever.
Well, and we try to encourage people because we don't want it to be just strictly networking. We want to keep it to the core of the masterminding group, but we really encourage people to have one-on-ones and to learn about one another's businesses in that one-on-one environment. And then, if a service or something like that fits, then great, connect in that capacity. But we always have time for announcements for people to talk about any events that they're having. And I think that has really helped a lot of people with their business in general. We're having a date night or a plant culture. I love plant culture. My boyfriend and I went. They have buy one get one half off on Sundays, and so we made our plants. And just hearing about that, if I would not have known about that, if they hadn't announced it, we never would have gone to do that. So
plant culture's on my list.
It's
I
really
haven't gotten to. We've been awfully busy this month, but it's definitely on my list. So that's pretty cool.
It's awesome. They had a plant, a pot with a face on it, and then a plant that was really spiky. So my boyfriend planted it so that it looks like a mohawk.
Oh, very cool.
Inside the plant. So something fun. But I think, what I would encourage people who are curious about Align, and, you mentioned you have a vast audience, so people who may just be interested in how do I create this sort of community environment in my town. I would encourage you to reach out or to myself or to you and just have a conversation about what it can look like.
Sure.
It helps that I'm kind of an activator, so if I'm going to do something, I'm going to not worry about whether it's going to be successful or not. I'm just going to do it, and then we'll figure it out as we go along, which is kind of how it happened.
It's a good way to be.
Yeah, but one of the things that we did was we just kind of had a loose little structure of like, we're going to have intros. We're going to network for the first 15 minutes. Then we're going to have our announcements, then events, and then we support a nonprofit, every month and kind of raise money for them. And then we're going to have a 10-minute educational moment, so to speak, of something that should be good for the entire group. And I would say it's very easy. It's an easy model to mimic if you're interested in creating that kind of environment for yourself.
Sure.
If you're local, don't be afraid to come in and join us. We're very open. We Laurie, my sidekick, she's very funny. I'm always probably the more serious one of the two, if you can believe that, because I'm like trying to keep us on track and on schedule, so that everybody's time, is taken up usefully. But yeah, I mean, we're very open. So I feel like if you want to just come and visit and try it, then we're ready to welcome you in.
So let's talk about where and when that is. That would be good.
So we have recently moved to Rudy's Barbecue.
Oh, really?
Yes.
When did
So
that
you
change?
missed it last week. So
Okay,
last
I was
week
out of town last week.
yes.
Yeah, so
Last
I didn't know
week
that.
was our first event at Rudy's. It went really well. We like that we can get breakfast and coffee
very
there.
cool.
But we are 8:30 is like our official start time. I'm not going to be there before 8:30, so even if you're there at 8:29, I'm probably not there yet. But we will network for like usually the first 15 minutes. When I get there, I'm setting up the computers and things like that, and then we have a pretty hard start at 8:45. And then we run the entire meeting from 8:45 until about 9:45, depending on how long the introductions go, with the promise that everybody's out by 10.
Sure.
So, and I have had people say to me, well, I wanted to go, but I have to drop kids off and I can't get there till 8:45. Come on in.
Sure.
Like, we're going to make room for you, and we're going to be able to we're going to find you a seat. We're not going to call you out on it. Like, it's a very relaxed environment. Just because you come one time doesn't mean you have to come every time.
Right.
We'll miss you if you're not there, but we want people to have the freedom to get what they can get from it and to give what they can give to it. But we also know when sometimes you're maxed out, as a business owner, and sometimes you may just want to show up and just be there and that's it, and then leave, and that's perfectly fine too.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I've been late lots of times.
Yeah,
no problem.
yeah.
I found it very welcoming though from the very get go. So I would highly recommend it. I think we can close out on that. Just Thursdays, 8:30, Rudy's Barbecue. If let's say you're looking at this later down the line, Align Mastermind, the group on Facebook.
Yeah.
You might go and check that out, just because maybe by the time you watch this, maybe there's some change, or maybe that sometimes on certain weeks they go other places sometimes too. So
every Wednesday, Laurie posts a reminder of when and where the meeting is. So we've consistently, we were at our previous location very consistently. Rudy's is new. I don't anticipate us leaving from there for a while, so that should be where it's at. One thing I will say is that when you go on to the Facebook to join the group, please answer the questions about like where you're located, what your business is, things like that. If you don't answer the questions, then I hit decline, because I'm like, okay, you're not that interested if you're not answering questions. So make sure that you do that. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Jennifer.
All right. Yes, absolutely. This is great.